What up guys, it's Vico here. Welcome to another training. If you click on this video, you probably know that it's going to be quite a different one. The training is going to be quite long, so make sure that you sit down properly, take some note, and have a cup of coffee in front of you. In this training, we're going to go through the exact thought process on how to conduct an actual closing call, aka the demo call, making sure that you maximize your closing rate by asking the right question and understand the thought process on why we asked this question in the first place. And this question is going to be creating a loophole that using what they say to actually reinforce their belief into making commitment to actually change their business and change their life. Okay, so if you like this video, leave it a thumbs up, show me in the comment what you think of the training. Any question at all, any comment would be really appreciated, and make sure that you check in the description. We have a free bonus gift for you if you watch till the end. We also leave that in the comment as well, and actually join our Facebook group to actually see more content and more resource like this. Make sure that you subscribe as well. Without any further ado, let's get on to the training. Yeah, so this is a calls to training. So you can find this in number 17, right? So let's just went through all that. Right, the first thing that I want you to be noticed, Rob, that this two book would be very much like explaining the concept of the style that we're using right now, okay? And I think you already read the first one anyway. So there's just a few notes here, you can go over it. You know, the question that the script is more of a structure where I give you like stages, and in that stage you have 6 or 7 questions, but just don't use all of the question at once. It's not, you know what I mean? It's not meant to be like that. And if they don't answer you correctly and then they're not exactly giving you what you're after, you have to rephrase it to another question to move them on to the next stage, right? Before we get to it, the pre-call ritual is as important as the call itself. First of all, have a software that record your call. We use Loom. The one that we use right now, we use Loom to record our call. I don't like Zoom because Zoom you have to upload, and Zoom Cloud is expensive and it's hard to use. It needs passwords and stuff. Loom is just easy. First, you have to detach from the outcome. You're there to help them. You're there to understand the problem. That's very important to get. It take me a long time to get this, and I know it's like one sentence that you read from here, but it's actually very difficult to do because we are a very emotional creature. Do not make an offer if they refuse to answer your question, or which is linked to the first one. If they do answer your question and then they're not qualified to be a great candidate, don't make an offer if you know they can't help them. Like example, if they're like a loan officer and you help real estate agents, so that's like one scenario there. Emotionally ground, not too excited and not too sad as well, but obviously, you know, just keep lighting up the mood. I do not carry emotion from the last call. The last one is freaking important, man. Like, we have to treat the person as an actual human being. For me personally, Rob, before I jump to the call, I check out their Facebook and profile picture. I want to see their face before I meet them on Zoom. I know you're gonna meet them on Zoom anyway, but I want to see their face. And Facebook, you can just scroll and you can see their family, and you want to make sure that this is like, you know that this is someone's brother, someone's father, and you're there to help them. You connect with them on a human level, not on a business level. That's what I personally do. Sometimes when you do sales call after sales call after sales call and follow the same script, you need a reminder to do this, you know what I mean? And so the call go with like a rapport building. Should be less than 2 minutes. Hey, how's it going? How's the week been? You know, we obviously spoke on the phone before, you know, blah blah blah. So what I'm gonna quickly do in this call, Rob, is I want just to recap a few things just so we're on the same page. Then we can go in and we can go a little bit more into our process. Is that cool with you? So that's like a brief frame. So I'm gonna ask you some questions, and then we can go into our process. It's just a reframe. And one of the things you probably get, like, you know, you guys call me, I don't call you, you guys reach out to me, you know. So what you do is like, do you get that sometimes? Like, you know, you guys call me, I don't call you. So you always say like, well, well, that makes sense, totally true. Well, apart from us reaching out, what motivates you to speak to someone like ourselves? From us reaching out, what motivates you? Maybe use the word less aggressive and motivate, like what scared you to talk to someone like ourselves? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then a lot of people are like, this is probably like the hardest one to get through, bro. Like if you get through this one, it's like everything else is easy. Because like a lot of people are like, oh, I just want more information. Oh, I saw your offer on Facebook, and then they don't know what to say. You know what I mean? Like you have to get to the root, or otherwise you can't move to the next stage. I already make it clear, right? Like I said, do not move to the next stage unless you ask the right question. And the stage is situation, problem, implication, and payoff. Yeah, like you don't move to the next stage unless you get this one done. Like if they say like, I want more information, that's not done. Like you keep asking like, just so I know what information you're after. Oh, I want more information about generate leads for my business. There you go. So like you don't let them off the hook unless you get the right answer. Make sense? And that's by rephrasing the question. So now you get the outcome. I just want more sales. Well, just so I know, and this is the word that really helped me a lot. It's like a softener. Do you know what a softener is?
Like break questions so it's easier to understand?
Yeah, sort of. It's like you make the question less aggressive. You make it more soft. It's like, can you go on a date with me? But if you add a softener, it's like, would it be appropriate to tee up a time with me on this particular date so I can buy you a drink? So the second sentence is way more softer, way less aggressive. So that's what a softener is. A softener is like, just curious, just so I know. Well, from your perspective, how do you feel about this? Like, you gotta pick that up. Like this verbal cue, really important. So someone says, well, I just want more sales like everyone else. Well, okay, that's fair. Well, just so I know, what does that look like for you, Mr. John? Is it like 15 sales a month? That's 20 sales a month? So you get now you get a very clear outcome on why they're there, So let's say 20 sales a month, alright? 20 sales a month. Well, now, after you get the intention, you can move on to the situation. Well, what are you currently doing right now to get that 20 sales a month? Whatever they're doing right now, you have to know that whatever that they do right now is not getting them 20 sales a month. Well, otherwise, why would they want 20 sales a month? They don't want something that they already have. They haven't got it yet. Like, what are you currently doing right now to get 20 sales a month? Well, blah, 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 blah. It's always door knocking, cold calling, all that, right? So how do you feel that working out so far? So now that's the other tricky bit. You get the good and you get the bad. If the bad is easy, like someone said, it's not working out that well. Well, what do you mean by that? Do you have any example? Just like going to the pain, really, really twisting on the knife. And remember, Rob, you're already doing this in the first 10 minutes of the call. This is early on the script. This is very early on the script. So the problem that we face is when they deny that it's not a problem. When it's just they keep saying it's good. If it's bad, it's easy. I'm not going to go through the bad one, but if it's good. What important is if they keep saying it's good, you have to know that whatever they're doing right now, they're not getting 20 sales. So what's the reason behind that? But you can't make it sound so we just say okay, that's fair enough. I can appreciate that. But just so I know, Mr. John, just so I know, it sounds like everything you do right now seems to be working alright. Is that right? And they're like, oh yeah. But what's holding you back from getting to 20 sales? Yeah, you're obviously not doing 20 sales right now, correct? So you want to call them out on that, but in a very soft way. Make sense?
Yeah.
So end of the day, it can't be 100%, or they wouldn't be on the call. Like, what kind of guy spend an hour with someone if they got nothing to solve, right?
Yeah.
So this is some of the question, and how would you feel if they saying everything is good and stuff, how do you feel about an automating prospecting system fit into your current business right now? So this is some of the question that we have. Okay, any questions before we move on to the implication?
No, it's good.
So the situation problem is you gotta make sure that they can't have 100% good, and no one has that. Okay, so the implication problem is that when you actually get them to agree that something is bad is happening, now it's going to the impact, the twisting the knife, right? You know what I mean? So the first thing we do is probing, just go deeper. It's when you ask someone I like cucumber, what exactly do you like about cucumber? And then they said blah blah blah. It's why is that? Why do you like that about cucumber? And then they said blah blah blah. Well, what do you mean by that? And they keep giving specific. So we go down narrower. So someone said, what I'm doing right now is just take a bit more time. Well, when you say take more time, what exactly do you mean by that? I spend 20 hours extra on what I'm doing right now where I could otherwise spend on something else. Okay, wow, so 20 hours extra. You gotta show empathy. This is the part where you show empathy. I think being an introvert like yourself, you have strong emotional sense. You can see if someone's sad or not. You wanna show empathy on that part. Right? How do you feel that has impact your day to day? So you just go deep, and then when you feel it's deep enough, you want to ask them how long has it been like that for? That's twisting the knife, and then that's taking the knife out, and that one is the blood start to flow from the wound. So like we have to do this, and the tonality is so important here because you're making them very vulnerable to open up for you. So your tonality has to be slow, have to be empathetic, and it have to be soft. So how long has it been like that for? A year? And then you just pause. You just like stay silent a bit. Wow, a year. Huh. Just so I know, how does that impact your day to day? That's question D. And just so I know, how does that impact your business? Just so I know. Just so I know how you feel about that. There's just a lot of questions, right? So this is like the blog is starting to run. Well, you know, I can't spend time with my wife, can't go to dinner on time, you know. So the problem here is that what I normally see in my experience is like, nothing, man, it don't really impact that much. So if they give you that, you have to backtrace it. You go like, what do you mean it's not impacting you? Just so I know, like, is this a different problem? Like, is there any other different problem? What exactly holding you back from getting to 20 sales on your own? Like, it have to be a big enough problem, right?
Yeah.
Which is number 10 can signify that. Just so I know, like, you know, it's happened a year ago. You had this for a year ago. Why is it important now though that you change things up? So this actually signifies a small problem or a big problem. You know, you told me it's been like a year ago. Like, why is it important for you now though to change things up, right?
Yeah.
And the one trap that I found most of the time is that they giving you an outside reason, right? So what, like when I asked them, they said, oh, you know, the market is changing, the market is hot right now, so I want to be in the market. So they give you like some reason that's like outside. So you don't want to take that because it doesn't hold them accountable. So, well, what would you say is like, you know, well, a part of the market, I guess from your business perspective, why is it important now though to change things up? So it's like inside the business, like,
yeah.
I guess like apart from the market is changing, right? From your perspective or from the business perspective, why is it important now though? Then they said, I just have a new staff, so we really need to take on more work. So now it's like a business reason, and then it's like an inside reason, then an outside reason. If someone said the market is changing, that's bullshit, man. You know what I mean? The market changed a year ago too.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Any questions so far? We sort of like in the middle of the script right now. So when they actually, this will be after the situation, problem, and implication. Now it's like the need payoff, right? Well, just so I know, if we have something out there that help fix the problem, getting you more leads or all that stuff, what would that allow you to achieve? Like, what's your monthly goal? Specifically, what's your revenue goal? 100K a month, 10K a month, 20K a month, and then you just go like, you go deeper. Like, what does that allow you to do? What number do you want? Why that number? What does that allow you to do? Just like keep writing what they said, you know, retirement, all that stuff. But then you said, well, ultimately, what is your vision aside from making money? Like, what do you aspire to be? You know?
Yeah.
You know, I want to donate to my charity and all that stuff, which is your answer, you know, and you deeply appreciate that, and not just following the scripts and like being connected. And then like, well, why is it important for you to give back to your community, to your charity? And now you get to understand them as a person, and then when they speak that, they're inspired to be a higher version of themselves. And then now the 14, 15 is probably like the gap, right? If you've done your job well from the past, do you feel like what you have right now can help you get to that high version? So you do the problem, and then you do the situation and the implication. Now you have to pay off. Now they envision a higher version of themselves. Now you're doing the gap. You feel like what you have right now can help you get to that vision. You should get a yes on the stage. If you get a yes, you should get a no. You know what I mean? Well, if you get a yes, why are we on this call? Because like we obviously have this problem that you mentioned in the past already. And they said, like, are you willing to settle for that? That's the whole script. I'm finishing the script. Now it's the pitch. Any questions?
No, so you've gone through the script, just talking, looking at you on the Zoom, and then only then do you jump into the pitch and share your screen, is that right?
So that's the thing though, I'm telling you, like, you don't have to share screen during the pitch. You can just verbally say it. But, you know, if like your first goal or stuff, you can just share the screen, it's up to you. But make sure that the screen that you share is about like the first pillar, second pillar, and third pillar. Nothing else, nothing about the ad. But do you feel like the flow that I mentioned is exactly from the book?
Yeah.
The sprint technique. So we move on to the pitch. The pitch which we have discussed in the last call. So it has 3 steps, and there should be a script for your pitch. You should have a written word for word for the pitch, or for the offer.
Yeah.
I should call this the offer. And then after you say the offer, well, you know, we have a first pillar. I'm gonna help you do that. That makes sense. And you got to be preparing for the question for this. Like, let's say you said the first pillar and you explain blah blah blah, and then people ask you a question, well, is this like your Facebook page or is it my Facebook page? You have to know the answer. If you go like, oh, I'm not sure, nah, you don't have confidence. Sell is a transfer of confidence. So that offer that you say that you have word for word, you got to be prepared for questions. So I suggest you say it to your wife and pretend that like if she don't know anything, what would she ask? So I normally go, you know, that guarantee that you do, is it only for me or is it only for other Asians as well? Is that guarantee for you? Like what kind of lead are they? You know what I mean? Like when you said you guarantee me 30, walk me through like what kind of lead are they? But you got to be prepared to answer that. So I recommend you do role play with your wife before you get on the real call.
So write a load of questions that they might pose at you and find answers for those already.
Yeah. So I would recommend you role play with your wife and answer that. But because you're running ad yourself, you should know what to answer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And those are not objection. Those are logical questions. If someone asks you, what does the ad look like? What kind of lead are they? They are not objection, right? Don't get me wrong. That's not objection. They are logical questions about your offer.
Yep.
Okay. And they have every right to ask that because they are a buyer. Make sense?
Yep.
Right. So here is like the most important part that can make a difference between a yes or a no, bro. Like when you make the offer, you don't tell the price because the price and the offer is two different things, okay? But there's a thing before that, that's called the committing question. If you get this right, it would make a huge difference between a yes or a no, right? So it's like, so basically you explain the offer, then they ask you a lot of questions until they have no more questions. Then what you said is, okay, John, you have any more questions? They said, no. You said, what do you want to do from here? Then I said, well, I just want to know how much it is. Before we go to the funding, how do you feel about the structure? Very open question. How do you feel about the structure? 1 to 10. Sometimes I use 1 to 10 and then they normally give you a 7 or 8 and you just say, what's the difference between 7 and a 10 for you? Before I used that, but now I don't use that anymore. But I just go like, how do you feel about the structure? Do you feel like you probably get like a maybe, probably, and all that stuff? Like, do you feel like this could be the answer for you? You know, I asked you this. It's not too long ago. You probably remember, right? So this is a temperature check. You check the confidence. Like sales is a transfer of emotion. The confidence. People buy stock because of confidence. People buy crypto because they have confidence. People buy into you because of confidence. So now you're checking like, could this be the answer for you? If they said no at this point, Rob, there's no point of giving them the price. That's it. Like, could this be the answer for you? No. Well, then why are you asking for the price? If they ask for the price, it shouldn't be a no. But if they said maybe, so if they have a language that you recognize a lot of uncertainty, they say like maybe, they give you a bit of hesitation. They're like, oh, you seem a bit unsure there. So if they give you a language that is like a bit uncertain, you say, I guess from your perspective, see, this is a softener again. From your perspective, what do you feel like? And this is like 3 softener in one go. I guess it's 1 softener because guessing is very soft. From your perspective, what do you feel like I could walk you through or show you to make you 100% on this? So if they give you like a maybe or like I'm not sure, I have to ask my wife first. What do you mean you have to ask the why? So if they give you like a straight up yes, even if they give you a straight up yes, they say like why? Like how do you see this gonna help you with your goal? Like so like how do you feel? So even if they give you a yes, you still qualify them. And if they give you a no, you handle that objection right then and there before the price drop. It's very hard for you not to close if you follow the structure that you show them that you understand their pain, you actually twist their pain, you understand their goal, and you actually have a solid offer, and then you qualify them before you even give them the price. So it's very hard for them to actually not close. If they said no, you go to number 4. But if they said yes, you go to number 3. Any question?
So with yourself, obviously you've been doing this for a while, you're really comfortable with the script and everything else. Out of 10 people who get to call 2, what would you say your close rate is?
I haven't been doing sales for a while. I was like I'm traveling right now, but you should aim between 25 to 40%. But I would just say 20%, 1 out of 5.
1 out of 5 closing.
That's the benchmark for a closer.
Yeah.
But a good closer would be hovering around 45 to 60. Because you got to understand that people are committing a 1 hour of their time for a reason. They're putting their hand up for a reason, right? Whether through ad or through outreach. And the script is a foolproof script because you qualify them over and over again to make sure that they wanted it, and actually they are the one that's saying that they wanted it. You don't say anything to them, you just ask them questions. So like, they said, whoa, do you feel like this could be the answer for you? Yes. How so? Just so I know. They said, oh, you know, the AI really helped me. Like, come on, like if someone say that to you, right? Like, I ask you, how is this gonna help you? You said like the one-on-one coaching really gonna help you. You say that. I don't say anything to you. You know what I mean? A lot of people skip this step, Robert. If you go into the committing question step, it would make your life a lot easier. So like, what they do is that they go to offer, then they answer the question, then they do the price drop. We don't drop the price unless you go through the committing question, right?
Yeah.
It's like a foolproof yes thing. So sometimes I get this, I want to transfer my experience to you. Before you drop the price, they go like, how you feel about this? And then they go like I'm not sure that I have the money to do this right now. So now they give you the objection before you even give the price. So like, money is the issue right now, huh? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So everything they said yes, they qualify themselves, you're ready to drop the price, right? Right.
Yeah.
So the investment to work with us would be, you would change the black bold letter to your wording, and on average from what we see in the past, I would just change this to like, you know, you should get leads flowing in the first 24 hours of setting up. So like, on average from what we see in the past, you should get your first lead coming in the first 24 hours of setting up. You can do something that is exciting. This is like something exciting, you know what I mean? So this is your guarantee, this is your price, and this is like something that is exciting. Now I feel like we're out of time, but I'm just gonna go over time because we can spend another hour about objection, because it's like a whole other topic. Objection is so huge. So first of all, you have to differentiate what is an objection. Like if people ask you about the ad, that's not objection, okay? Objection is meaning they push an unclear agenda of not moving forward to you. Like they being unclear about something, that is an objection. If you follow the script and they say yes, 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 and you drop the price, it should technically be a yes. Like technically, in theory, it should yes. You know, you go yes, 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 yes. It couldn't be a no at the end. Technically, it should be a yes. So the objection, they give you like a no or unsure, right? So before we go into any objection, Robert, you have to understand, don't treat this like word for word, right? Objection is, the first thing you do is, what do you mean? Problem, like what do you mean? I need to talk to my wife, what do you mean? And the first thing we do, like, you know, this is like just what you can say. Aside from the money, would there be anything else for moving forward? And the best way to do objection is just to role play. The reason why I'm having it on the script, because I feel like this is some of the most common objection that is out there. I mean, like, is there any question about the objection? You want to do is agree, clarify, and trust with objection.
Yeah.
I feel like objection is something that we can't go through over until you actually have the call, because you actually know how it feels like first. Remember the fundamental though, because this is just script. This is literally script word by word. So if someone said, I need to talk to my wife, I use the business owner, I use the spouse, you can say that word, but if you understand the fundamental, which is like, okay, that's fair enough, like you agree with them. Just so I know, what do you mean by talking to your wife? When you said you need to talk to your wife, what do you mean by that? So you agree, that's fair enough. Then you said blah blah blah. I need to talk to my wife about finance because it's our own money, it's a joint account. Oh, so just so I know, you need to talk to your wife because it's a joint account and it's to make a finance decision, right? So you actually repeat back what they said to make sure that you understand. And then what I would do is that I would add to that, once you actually only if you get to the root and it have a binary outcome, you want to walk through them for both right then and there, right? Does that make sense? So let's say I'm gonna go with the wife one. I just need to talk to my wife. Okay, that makes sense. Just so I know just so I know that we're both on the same page here, Robert. What do you mean by you need to talk to your wife? Oh, because you know it's a joint account and my decision gonna affect her. Oh, that's fair. So you actually want to discuss this so that the investment that you're gonna be making is gonna be affecting her directly financially. Is that correct? So you want to trust? And she said, yeah. Is there anything else? No. I would just keep isolating. I would say, okay, that could be a wife issue. But aside from that, let's just pretend that your wife said yes, right? Would there be anything else that hold us from moving forward? So you actually isolate that away. So that's what I mean. Like when you get to a binary outcome, you want to walk through that binary solution. Binary means like it's two. But like let's just pretend your wife said yes. Are you 100% on this? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Then if he said no, then what can I show you? Like what do you mean no? Is there any other problem? And what I would do, like in my book, right? You should have a book taking note. So if he have a wife problem, you write wife. Then if you isolate that wife away to something else, like you should write finance. Just keep writing the concern. But let's just say your wife say yes. Are you on board with this? 100%. If they said yes, cool. Well, it's just your wife then, right? Okay, cool. That's fair. I guess we can do a follow-up call, and then you schedule a call. And we typically do 24-hour, just so it's fresh in your mind. You book a call. But before I let you go, John, would you mind running through brainstorm on what we can do from here? And then said yes, cool. Well, let's pretend that your wife said no. What's gonna happen then? So now you're actually like when someone said they need to talk to their boss or their wife or their spouse, it's a binary solution. So let's pretend they say yes, what's gonna happen? Let's pretend that they say no, what's gonna happen? Well, let's pretend that your wife said no, what's gonna happen? They said, well, I'm not gonna go through with it. Then now it's a real objection. It's like they say no right now and then. You have an opportunity to handle that before they go away. So it's like your wife said, no, I'm not gonna go through with it. And I was like, well, what do you mean you're not gonna go through with it? Because you just mentioned a minute ago that this problem, not letting you having dinner with your kid in the first place. And I encourage you to see this as a long-term solution, not a short-term finance getaway, you know what I mean? But I thought we're on this call so you can spend more time with your family. So, if they say no right now, so if they said like their wife said no, they said they're not going to go through with it, you have an opportunity to handle that no right now. Because if that like the true thing where they actually opt for their wife, and if their wife said no and they said no, they will ghost you after that call. And even if I need to think about it, right? I need to think about it, you go, what do you mean? And then you like trust the thing, and then you find a binary outcome, and you go through that binary outcome. So let's pretend that in your case, I feel like I didn't do that for you. Let's say I need to feel like whether to use my money from crypto or withdraw it from my saving. Well, let's pretend that you withdraw it from your crypto. What can happen then? I'm just losing some stock option. Okay, cool. What about from your saving? What can happen then? I'm just, whatever that you say. And I would say like, what is the worst case scenario here? Like, and you gotta make sure that the cost of not doing action, the cost of inaction is more than the cost of action. Because you would come back to this question, whatever that you write down in this question, like why now? Because I'm sick of getting scammed. I'm sick of doing the same shit and not getting the same result. I'm sick of that. Let me ask this: if you withdraw the money from your saving now, how much is what sort of return do you get on that if you leave it in your saving? And what sort of return would you get that into a program that's actually work? You can say that, right? Yeah. Or you can say what's.
It makes total sense. Can I just ask one question though? Like when you've got through this, how are you then taking the payments? Are you taking the payment on the phone? Are you sending an invoice? Or
if you're doing it in Stripe, do you have a Stripe account?
Yeah.
That's it. First of all, that's a good question. I would just sound very casual. Okay, cool. So what we typically do is that we just take your card number over Zoom right here, and I would just share your screen and open a Stripe account and put their name and put the card detail with them. I just have the card field open up. I said, what's your card number? 563-331. I just be casual about it. I would just have the Stripe account ready and just.
So you process direct bribe, you don't do it in Highlevel or anything like that?
Yeah, no. Why would do it in Highlevel for? You want to take payment. You want to take payment right then and there. But that's not always the case. Some people want an invoice, and there's probably not much that you can do to push that. So there's 5 levels of commitment. I probably forgot. I don't have it all off the top of my head. Commitment number 1 is the lowest. Commitment number 5 is the highest. I'm gonna start with the highest, and you always want to go for commitment number 5. If someone give you number 5, like the 5th commitment, they're ready to rock and roll. 5th commitment is full payment, and then payment plan, and then a deposit, and then a refundable deposit, and then an appointment. A follow-up appointment is the weakest one, right? So you always want to go through the highest commitment, and then if they have logical resistance, you always want to back out little bit by little bit by little bit, right? I'm going to give you an example. So our payment for today is $5,000, and you say nothing else. $5,000, so we can do this and that for you. So that's you're asking for the 5th commitment from the get-go without saying anything else, okay? And then they give you objection. They give you, I need to talk to my wife, I need to take a shit, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So if you feel like you handle the objection well, you can always stay on the first commitment. But if you feel like you don't handle the objection well, or you have more leverage than you stay. Okay, what do you feel like is appropriate for us to do? Only if that's a money issue. Payment plan, well, what is appropriate for you? 2 payment plans, 3 payment plans, we can arrange that. And fine, like maybe money is not the issue, it's something else. I need to talk to my wife, right? So money is not an issue here. I need to talk to my wife, I need to think about it. I just need time, please don't push me. Alright, just so I know we're on the same page here, you actually want this? Because like, you know, we don't have all day and we talk to 100 of agents every week. Just so I know you want this, right? And if you don't want it, that's fine. Just want to make sure that we're on the same page. So you going to the lower commitment, which is a deposit. Okay, I'm not comfortable with putting deposit, right? Cool. What we typically do in this case, John, is for an agent like yourself, just for us to reserve the spot until the next 24 hours, we'll offer a refundable deposit, 10%. So by tomorrow, let's say if you wake up, you have nightmare about working with us, we'll refund you 100%. I just don't want to do anything today, man. Just give me some time, and I would appreciate that. Okay, John. We'll book a call for tomorrow. You gotta play your card right, Robert. The trick is you can't ask them 5 at once. You can't do what I just did. You can't ask them for this, for that, for that, for that, for that. You can't ask them 5 times, because if you ask them 5 times, you're a very pushy salesman. So it's intuition. It's intuition that you ask them for this level of commitment based on that relationship, based on that mood in that call.
Yep.
Maximum is 2. Let's say you ask them for a full payment, and then you ask them for a payment plan.
Yep.
And for me, I don't even ask for a payment plan. I say like, if finance is hard for you, what is appropriate for you? And then they said a payment plan. So they actually say it. I don't even ask them. And then when they said payment plan, I said, what do you mean by payment plan? What is appropriate for you? And then they said 2 set up payment plan. So they actually say it. I don't even have to ask them. Technically, what I'm giving you is an example. You can't ask people for all 5. It wouldn't work in the real world. Technically, you default by the first hires, and then by your feeling, you pick the level of commitment you want from them. If they give you a very weak answer, I would just go straight for the follow-up call. If they feel distant from you, right? But by default, you should get a refundable deposit as your downplay. Okay? Remember, you got 2 times to ask, maximum 2 times. And when you pitch, said our service is 6,800. That's already 1 ask. So you can ask probably like 1 or 2 more. Yeah. I should have this down in the script, so that's 5 level of commitment. We just put that together for you. You can't touch this Google Doc, by the way. This is my my SOP. You have to like go like make a copy, right? You know how to do that. So I'm just gonna say 5 level of commitment. But anyway, bro, like I feel like we've gone through way more than enough today. I've actually given you extra time. It's like 1 hour and 30 minutes. I mean, like, do you feel I'm covered? I'm only giving you enough time because I care about your upcoming appointment, and I do want you to close. You know what I mean?
Yeah, thank you for that.
Any question?
Not at the moment.
Right, I'm gonna write 5 level of commitment here. Cool, man. Rewatch this video and go crush it.
Yeah, sounds good.
Bye.
Thank you so much, Vico.
Alright, thanks, man. See ya. Bye. Congrats, guy. You finished and you made it to the end, and I gonna keep my promise by showing you this amazing bonus gift, right? You are gonna get the entire scripts on what we just trained about. The entire script, including our prospecting script, right? So you're gonna get our triage call, which is the script, and this Google Docs link is going to be in the description. Check out our Facebook group in the description as well. There's gonna be a live call example, many of this live call example around that you can just listen to. But this whole training is gonna be there. It's gonna be script by script, word by word on how to actually conduct this triage call with real estate agent. Okay, and on top of that, if you scroll up to the very top, we're gonna give you our bonus sale training free of charge, right? So you guys can actually understand and get through the entire sale process and close like a couple of clients just by this alone. I can promise you, if you put in the work, study it all, you can actually close like 1 or 2 clients by yourself. So if you actually, so here's the final offer. If you're actually serious about growing your business and growing your agency, I would like to offer you a free 45-minute strategy call on how we actually can do that together. By now, you know, if you at a place where you're closing 1 or 2 clients right now and you want to actually scale up to 10-20k a month, the best time is actually to schedule a strategy call, and with the link below as well, to actually map that out, map the roadmap, map the strategy, and map the execution plan together. Right, guys, thank you so much for watching this video to the end, and we'll see you in the next one.